Hello, welcome to Kika's photo challenge. This is week 2 and this is the second photo challenge in a 12-week photo challenge series, and you must have guessed the theme already. It is hidden. Alright, before we jump into today's theme, just a quick recap. So this is my 12-week free photo challenge series here on YouTube that anybody can join, and if you're watching this at a later date, you can complete all these projects in your own time. Do make sure that you use the hashtag Kika's photo challenge on Instagram if you post any of the photos so I can come and see them. And also, I think it would be nice if we would share our Instagram handles or the names in the comments. So put your Instagram name in the comment below and I will go and try to look at as many as possible and just give support, and so others can also come and see your work. Also, if you haven't downloaded the free workbook that I've put together, I'll put the link in the description below so you can go and grab that. Last week, the first photo challenge theme was childhood. Thank you so much everybody who took part and posted and shared their photos online. Here are some of the beautiful creations that you made. I'm gonna share some of them in my videos every week, so do make sure that you use the hashtag Kika's photo challenge so that I can come and see them. I've chosen the theme for our second photo challenge to be hidden, and I was inspired by one of my go-to and favorite type of self-portraits I do, which is a no-face self-portrait. But you can obviously interpret this theme in whatever you'd like. Hidden doesn't have to be a self-portrait. It can mean, well, whatever you want it to mean, or whatever kind of ideas it starts to spark to you. I personally think this is a pretty interesting concept to go by because it allows us to play with what is being visible and what is not visible, and just creating some of that interest in the photo without revealing everything all at once. And I think that's a very good tool and way to bring interest and to spark the imagination of the viewer. Hello, now I can see you. Oh no. In this video, I'm going to share the whole process of how I interpreted this theme, and the point is not that you should copy or imitate or do it as exactly as I do. It's more just to show you piece by piece how you could go about taking a photo, and especially a self-portrait. And again, I think it's sometimes helpful just to see like really concretely the steps, because maybe it will give you some clues and ideas that you can use. For this video, I've split it into 4 parts. So the first part is going to be choosing your hiding spot or hiding place or prop. The second one is going to be gathering your props and wardrobe. Third one is going to be shooting in difficult conditions. And the fourth one is going to be a little Photoshop trick that I think that you will enjoy. Choosing your hiding place, or in my case, hiding prop, if you can call it that. So a good place to start, you can start however you want, but this may be the easiest one, is to think of where you'd like to hide, or if there is something that you'd like to hide behind. So actually having like an object or a prop or something that you can use in a creative way. I chose to use this frame that it used to be a mirror, but unfortunately it broke. I think was 5 or 6 years ago, and if you know, they say this superstition that if you break a mirror you're supposed to have 7 years of bad luck, so but almost in the clear, I suppose. But I'm going to use this frame in my photo. I've been wanting to use it for a long time, but never just found the right idea. But I think for this one, it's gonna work. And you can use pretty much whatever you have. Maybe think of something that is fairly big, so it will give you some more options to play with that you can hide behind and kind of play a little bit of a hide and seek. And obviously you can then also choose to show some body parts and really think about what you want to show, what you want to hide, how you could use it in an unexpected and creative way. Another alternative is obviously if you have like a fun cupboard that you could put yourself in, or hide somewhere in plain sight or behind a tree in a fun location. So instead use your environment as the starting point and play with that. Next up, gathering props and wardrobe. Well, for this one, my prop is already the frame, but then my wardrobe, I want to make sure that it's aesthetically cohesive and telling the same story that the frame. So this frame is pretty romantic. It has these ornamental details and is very decorative and has this romantic air to it. So I'm going to try to embody that in what I'm wearing and also in the color palette I'm choosing. So I chose this dress that is a pretty muted color, and then, well, some winter boots because it was a very cold day. Okay, next up, shooting in difficult conditions. So mostly this means when you're shooting outdoors like I'm doing at the moment, and I can tell you, it's a little bit of a struggle because there is literally snow coming down on my camera. It's getting wet all the time. It's wet on the ground. It's kind of cold and there's people around. So there's many elements to take into consideration, plus trying to, artistically make it interesting and find good locations. So I think my tips for this would be, first of all, stay calm, which is a lot easier said than done. And staying calm usually just means like taking a deep breath, and so much pressure and stress will be taken away if you plan beforehand. So always when I go and, for example, shoot these videos or when I'm taking photos outdoors, I make sure to have a good plan beforehand, so I don't have to then out there in the field doing my thing think too much about what I am going to do, that I have a clear plan of action, essentially. When I was taking this photo, I placed my camera on my tripod, as I always do, and then I have this app that I connect my phone to my camera so I could trigger it from where I was standing, and I didn't have to run back and forth. And then I just tried to be really quick because I didn't want my camera to get too wet, and I also knew that this was a pretty simple idea. So I took one photo with me holding the frame in front of my face, and then also one photo with me holding it in front of my sort of mid area, like belly, and that was it. Maybe it took me 5 minutes, and then I was basically done. And the last part is going to be a simple Photoshop editing trick, which I'm going to use for my photo to really bring that wow effect, and also to hide my face because at the moment it is visible. And I have two different ideas, but we're going to start with this simple one, and I'm going to show you a really simple trick. If you haven't used Photoshop before, don't worry, this is optional. You don't have to use Photoshop for any of this, and you can just instead do something where you're just holding something in front of your face or some other body part. If you have Photoshop, great, this is going to be easy for you to follow along. There is also an app called Photoshop Mix, which I'm pretty sure that it is free to download, and there you can essentially do the same thing that I'm going to show you now on my computer screen. I always shoot all my photos in RAW format just because then I have more editing room in there and there's just more information. So the first thing I do, I will select the photos I'm going to use. For this one it was really easy, so I'm going to choose these two photos. So I will start with editing this photo with the frame in front of my face. The first thing I do, I open it up in Photoshop and I just duplicate the layers. Then usually at this point already, I will go in here and change the canvas size to be approximately 4:5, since this is the format I'm going to post it on Instagram, and this is the format that I want to have for my final image. So already where I'm composing the whole frame, I want to see how the different elements will look together. And the reason I do this canvas size change instead of cropping is because when you crop the photo, all that information that you crop out is lost, but when you have the canvas size, you can still go and move around the actual photo in the canvas, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Next up, I'm going to go in and select a section of this background blur, and then I'm going to just use Command Copy and Command Paste, and then have this round, just blurry area. And the next thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to do the same thing with the frame, and then I'm going to erase everything that is in the frame, so my own face basically. And then with a simple click of a button, I'm going to put this round blurry thing underneath the frame, and ta-da! My face is gone, and it actually looks like a mirror, but I feel like it has like a bit of a spooky vibe. So basically Photoshop is doing all these layers, and then you can erase parts, and this is like a super simple trick that you can use. Then I also wanted, because you can see here my footprints when I walked onto the spot, and I didn't want to have those there, so I wanted there to be snow. So then I just went in and copied a piece from where you couldn't see it outside of the frame and just pasted that in. Now, if you remember, I took two different photos, And for the other one, where I'm holding the frame in front of my belly, I had a more elaborate idea, and I'm not going to go into too much detail in how I did this, but basically I made this skeleton and then I put some butterflies in my belly. It was more or less the same technique that I just showed you, but it took a little bit longer because to get the skeleton right and also to get the butterflies, but I thought these two came out pretty nice. I'm not so sure if the butterfly is so much on point for a theme of hidden, but maybe it is because you're kind of hiding the butterflies in your stomach and maybe you don't want anybody to see, but then this frame has X-ray vision or something. Now the last step of the editing process is I go into Lightroom and make sure I have all the colors and moods on point and that it looks how I want it to look. So for this one I did some small tweaks, nothing too dramatic. And yeah, that's basically it. And now I'd love to see what you come up on this theme of hidden, the second photo challenge. And again, in next week's video, I'm then going to be sharing some of your creations in my video. And remember to put your Instagram handle in the comments below and use the hashtag Kika's photo challenge if you take part. Really looking forward to see what you cook up for this. And thank you so much everybody who's joining and who's downloaded the workbook. It's so much fun to just have this community here and also to see that so many of you are excited about this. All right, as always, remember also to subscribe so that you'll get notified every time there is a new video, and I will see you on Monday. Take care, bye!
There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello, a bee in my bonnet, hello. There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello, a bee in my bonnet, hello.